Good morning.
Morning.
Briefly touch on the game. Obviously, defensively is something that you wanted to do, something that we've been working for week in and week out. If I could go back a week to the Valley week, we was extremely upset that we gave up the last touchdown in that game. And so I think you saw the guys this week run around with effort and energy, trying to make sure that that was something that we accomplished this week. Like Coach said, we had a lot of respect for Pine Bluff, but we know that we can be our greatest opponent at times. And then also we feel defensively, or I feel, we play against the best every day. Our offense has done a tremendous job this year, moving the ball, scoring points, and it's put us in favorable positions. So, and I think you saw that on Saturday with what they were able to do in the first half, or just throwing the ball and putting points up, and then in the second half, coming back. I think first half we played 45 plays as a group defensively, and in the second half that was cut almost in half because the offense was able to run the ball effectively. Just a lot of guys were able to contribute on Saturday, and that's always a plus, especially with the score being like that. But we get young guys getting some experience, and just being able to stop those guys and get off the field was a plus as well. Arquez Cooper, week in, week out. As a secondary coach, I love him. He's the greatest player I have in my room, and he's not even in my room. He's rushing the passer, he's getting interceptions and taking them back to the house, and that's getting us off the field. So when you got guys like that coming off the edge, Blaine Winston, Donovan McCray, those guys up front, coming off the edge and playing the way they play, we don't have to cover very long in the secondary, and that's what we want. Again, being able to play a lot of guys, and like Coach said, just getting guys on and off the field. Those, like I said, those guys up front make it easy for us and cut down on the reps of the guys. I think in the past, we've had guys like Guy Stallworth play 80, 90 plays a game. He played 54 plays on Saturday. So that's always a plus of getting, your key guys minimum reps in games so they can be fresh later on in the season. But I just think for the most part what you're seeing is completeness from every group. Like Coach touched on it, it's just depth, trying to be 4 deep at every position. This is probably the most depth I've had as a secondary coach here. With those 5, I could probably go 2 whole groups in a game and not have any drop off. And I think it's the same way with the linebackers and the D line and so on and so forth. So, but again, we play the best every week in practice, and so if we can stop those guys. Practice is a war, Saturday is a celebration. So, any questions?
What do you think of the purple unicorn analogy?
No, I agree with Coach because it's harder and harder every year to be a defensive coach. You can't hit them a certain way, can't put your hands on them, and so when you have those running quarterbacks, which everybody in this conference have, you got to spread the field out, and you got to cover the whole field, and our guys do a great job of, locking in and buying in on what it is that we're doing, running around and covering the whole field. And like I said, the last couple of weeks we've been knocking on the door of not giving up a defensive touchdown. I think right now we've scored 5 touchdowns on defense, and we've only given up 5 in 5 games. So we've been knocking on the door of these shutouts, and it's always something here or there that keeps us from getting it. And so I think with homecoming and just the way that we played, we came out against Mississippi Valley State we were prepared and ready to play, but I don't know if the energy was there. So this week we had a lot more energy, and those guys came out, and I think this is something that they wanted to do. They wanted to blank those guys because, they added a log to the fire. They added a log to the fire, and I think that our guys took that personally and wanted to just prove to them that we're not zero blitz team that's just going to line up and do anything and give up big plays. And so, like I said, kudos to our young guys just coming out and being focused all week, especially with all the distractions going on.
Ted White came into the conference from other conferences as an offensive guru. He was a good quarterback when he was Pine Bluff's offense has been up and down. I mean, when they played Alcorn, obviously they did well, but they kind of tailed off since then. Is that a testament to the players to be able to hold down an offense that's trying to mimic ours?
Right. Coach White's a great coach. And I think he's going to do well in this conference. I just think, for the most part, what you see is they are trying to learn his system. Him only being there, 7 or 8 games now, getting there in the spring. You see that everywhere in the country. Those guys, I think offensively, those seniors have had 3 coordinators over there at Pine Bluff. So whenever you got changeover like that or turnover like that, those guys got to get used to that. And I think, not taking anything from them, but coming back to us, that's the big thing about why we're playing so well. Everybody that's here has been here for 3 years. Majority of the players have been here for 3 years on offense and defense. So there's been some continuity. Guys learn the scheme, knowing the scheme, and so now it's starting to come together. And so I just think on Pine Bluff's end, they got great players over there and they got good coaches. And in the end, they're going to be a better team a couple of years down the road. They're just trying to get that continuity together.
How much was that talked about, the overrated thing and the leading up to it? Is that something that you noticed from the players? Were they getting ticked off?
Well, Coach Burrell, he pointed it out to me, I think on Tuesday or Wednesday. It was like, man, your boy Willie been popping off on Twitter all week, And I was like, yeah, I know, but I try not to really put that out to our players. The one thing I did, I just tried to make sure that those guys understood what our goal is, and that's making it to Atlanta. But in the end, on Friday night, we had a nice little snippet of their interview with their coaches show, and we showed that to the players, and I think that kind of got them riled up because they didn't really know what other people were saying about them, because I don't think they really pay attention to it. I think they know what the task is at hand, but in the end, when they saw that, they believe that we pressure on every play and we just send all out blitzes and we give out big plays and we're overrated, they was like, okay, that's interesting. So they all went to the hotel, went back to their rooms, and came out with a sense of urgency the next day. So I think it played a little bit into it once we showed it to them, because nobody, like Coach said, don't talk about us. Don't talk about us. We're going to respect you as well, and we just want the same thing back. And our players, I think they really defensively, they wanted to come out and prove that we're not just a pressure team and we don't give up big plays. We play good, sound football here.
When you look at the environment here, and like I was asking Coach Fobbs, is that just some evidence of how far the program has come in the last couple of years when you look out and you have people just pretty much pouring out of the stands because there's so many people here?
No doubt. I mean, whenever you can pack your house, it's always a good thing. And with it being homecoming and the weather was nice, I mean, everybody was at Grambling night Saturday. I had 10 people here that didn't even go to Grambling, but they was running around and the tailgate and all that. And so I just think, with what we've been able to do, offensively, defensively with the program, just the energy, people want to be a part of it. They want to be in the building when you have 70-0 wins, and I think that's a good thing for our players because it keeps them excited. And with each win, it's even more excitement and even more fans coming out to witness, what we've been able to do. And I really believe the big thing is what we're doing off the field is starting to show on the field, and it has nothing to do with X's and O's. It's what Coach Fobbs said for when he first got here about the character stuff and making sure our guys do the right thing, go to class, and are great people. And I think that's starting to pour out on the field because you don't really have the penalty stuff that we have. Is just playing hard. You don't have the knick-knack stuff where somebody's fighting or doing this after a play and this and that or whatever. It's just they just playing football. So.
Do you think those character traits of the players and the coaching staff kind of resonates with fans, alumni, supporters, kind of a breath of fresh air, if you will?
No doubt. I mean, I think coaches fielded thousands of calls of people just, calling and saying they appreciate, what we're doing, and they love coming out to the games. And, when our guys go out in the community, we get letters back and phone calls back about how well-mannered our guys are, well-dressed, and this and that or whatever. So, you know, that's really important, because when those guys leave here, they got to go be great fathers, great husbands, men in the community, and that's what we want.